Danny watches a lot of television and movies. John does not. Listen in as she tells him about what she's watching, and he tries to make sense of it all. Welcome to Watching My Stories with Danny and John.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, get your own.
Oh, sorry. I'm Danny.
And I'm John.
Welcome to Watching My Stories.
Hi.
We did it. We maintained the playfulness.
We did so far. 15 seconds.
Hi. Yeah.
You should probably tell people what that's about because that came out of nowhere.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, we were getting ready to push record and we had a playful moment and we said, hey, we should keep that. You know, maintain that for the podcast.
Yes.
So we're trying.
Dee-dee-dee.
I was just going to do that.
Okay.
Sorry, everybody. Okay, here we are.
Yeah, so I don't have a lot to talk about this week.
But we're doing it anyway.
Yeah. Basically, you know, TV is on the downward slope, waiting until the fall season actually starts. So I'm just going to talk about a few things, and then in our Actors Corner, it's going to be Reese Witherspoon.
Or Reese without her spoon.
Yes, so great. I just saw a meme of her this morning, which is why I thought we should do her. And it's a side-by-side picture of Reese, the same picture, and in one picture she has a spoon, and in the other one she does not. And underneath it says Reese Witherspoon.
Yes.
And the other one says Reese without her spoon. It's not that funny, but
Oh, I'm so stupid.
it's okay.
That's my sense of humor right there, though.
Is it?
Well, I think so.
Okay.
I mean, it makes me laugh, so, you know.
That's all that matters.
It's gotta be.
Okay. All right.
You were just segueing out of that.
Okay.
Hi, sorry. Playfulness.
All right. Sorry, we were having technical problems. Had to cut in there. Okay, so we're going to get started.
Okay.
Okay, the first movie I want to talk about is Good Boys.
Okay.
This is the movie that came out last weekend. It did win the weekend, so there are quite a few people that saw it. I think everyone knows the trailer. Seth Rogen produced it, and it's an R-rated movie about three little boys on a journey.
Yes.
So the three boys, one is Jacob Tremblay. He is the boy from Room, who I just fell in love with then.
Everybody fell in love with it.
Yeah, he's the most adorable. And even in this, it's like, first off, his parents are beautiful. So, you know, he's just a very handsome little kid. But
He's going to have a great career. Because not only is he good looking, he's pretty talented.
really good. Yeah. Then there's another kid, Brady Noon. And then there's another kid, Keith L. Williams. And he was actually on The Last Man on Earth. Is that the movie? The show with Will...
That's what it's called.
Yeah.
Will Arnett.
Yeah. So he was on that. So he was funny on that. Anyway, so these three boys, they're in 5th grade. They're about to go into 6th grade. And they get invited to a kissing party, and they've never kissed. And so that starts this kind of journey for these boys to just get into mischief, and all this sort of stuff happens. So I really wanted to see this, obviously, which is why I saw it. And here's the thing. It's funny. There's a million funny moments, right? Because you're dealing with these young boys who are just getting exposed to sexual things, drugs, just grown-up things that they've never seen or never known.
But it seems like in an innocent way.
But it's in a very innocent way.
Yeah.
Of course. I mean, like one of the kids' dads has a sex doll and has told the boy that it's a CPR doll. And so they decide to try kissing with that. And it's also disgusting when he comes away and he's like, it's sticky and there's a hair on it, you know? So it's like,
oh no.
I mean, you know, or they have a guy who was actually Stephen Merchant coming over to buy something from Craigslist or whatever. Oh, well, let's get my parents have all these weapons in their closet, and they lay them all out. And it's like, you know, dildos and handcuffs and leather masks and ball gags and all that stuff. But they actually open the door armed with all of these things, you know, which again is just innocent. There's no,
they don't know.
funny to us.
Right.
So there's just moment after moment like that. They actually run it. One of the kids' neighbors, they get into a thing with them, which is kind of a long story, but they end up carrying around that girl's Molly, and that leads to a lot of funny things because the kids just are freaked out about the drugs, and and what I kind of want to see is like a follow-up movie with these three characters like in 5 or 6 years.
Oh, it'll happen.
To see,
I can guarantee
how
it'll
much everything changes. Yeah, but we actually kind of see change in them, and so what was funny is it kind of reminds me of that movie from earlier in the summer, Booksmart. Remember, with the two girls? It was a little bit like that, where these three boys had been friends forever, but going into middle school, people mature at different levels and are interested in different things, and so things change in friendships at that point. And that's really the underlying theme here is these boys' friendships and what's going to happen, and we kind of see it change at the end, and see some grow in different directions, and how they can maintain what they have but still go on and open up to other people, and that sort of thing. So that was very sweet. So it's very funny. It's also a little ridiculous at times, for sure. But that's one of these movies. It's kind of like you take like Ferris Bueller, and you take even The Goonies, and even Stranger Things. Any of those things that we loved, where the kids just kind of ran rampant. Was fun. But then there was this other level of that innocence. Like. They wanted to get to the mall, and I forget how many miles away it was. But, okay, sorry, we had to get Roxy, calm down. So it was all of those movies, but then with that innocent twist, which also takes you back, obviously.
Sure.
And like I was saying, there was a scene where they wanted to go to a mall, and I forget how many miles away it was, but they rode for like 15 minutes, and they stop, and one of the kids is like, I've never been this far from home. And it's like we all have, all of us in these ages, we all have those memories of that first time you rode your bike farther than you had ever ridden it, and that sort of thing. And so there was a lot of those things that I think really bring you back and make you remember what it was like to just not know what that was, or to just, try and figure out what kissing was, and, all that sort of stuff. So it was fun in that way. And again, it also made me wonder how many kids today actually can have those experiences, because any of the kids I know, they're not riding their bikes around anymore, and doing that sort of stuff. And so I thought this movie was obviously made by older people, because, I don't think they're capable of that anymore.
Yeah. I mean, country kids still are, but
maybe
not.
not.
Well, I'm sure, but I think, city kids have definitely got the short end of the stick, because life is scarier typically in the city. I think parents are more apprehensive.
I watch a lot of murder shows, and a lot happens in the country. So,
yeah, but
that long stretch on the dirt road that kids have to walk, a lot of bad things happen on those roads. So,
yes, but there's only so many kids for bad things to happen to. In the city, there's a lot. There's a lot more kids.
A lot more kids to choose from. Is that
yes.
Okay. Anyway, so anyway, I enjoyed it. Turn. I don't think I would advise people to go to the theater and see it. It's not necessary for that, for whatever reason. Although a lot of people did last week. So, for me, when it was over, I was kind of like, you know what? I don't think I had to go through that trouble. It was more like I enjoyed it. I'll definitely watch it again, because I think you'll find a lot of stuff funny.
Oh, I'm
but
sure.
It was also a lot of those sorts of gag jokes, those sight gag jokes. So it wasn't until the end where I was finally like, okay, now we're getting to that heart and soul of things. It took a little bit too long for me to get there. And then when we did, I was very happy about it. But, it was up front. It was definitely just, and then these kids can do that. And then they can, it was everything they could think of, So anyway, so that was Good Boys in theaters now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So now I'm switching the TV.
Wow, that was it for movies.
That was it for movies.
That was movies.
There's also a big slump in movies for basically the next 3-4 weeks. So the next show is Mindhunter. It's a Netflix show with Jonathan Groff, and Anna Torv is on it.
Oh, cool.
And Michael Cerveris. He's a Broadway guy, but he was also on Fringe. So Anna Torv and this guy, and there was someone else that was on there that was from Fringe, and I was like, that's weird. It's a David Fincher show, but there appears to be a lot of people from Fringe on it. Anyway,
wasn't Fringe David Fincher?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong about that though.
Yeah,
I don't remember that.
I don't. Well, I certainly don't.
Okay. Anyway, Mindhunter. So I did not watch the first season until a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of those things that when it came out last year, I was aware of it. And even though Jonathan Groff was in it, it just wasn't, I didn't get to it.
Mm-hmm.
And a month ago, I was looking for something and I was like, you know what? This is about serial killers. That's me. That's not me. That's my favorite thing.
Do we need to talk? What? Wow.
So I decided to watch it and oh my gosh, it was fantastic. And so then the second season came out last weekend. And so this is actually based on a real guy who was in the FBI back in the late 70s, early 80s, working in behavioral sciences. And they started this whole new division to try and figure out, in the 70s especially, there was that boom of serial killers. And that was so new that the FBI and everyone hadn't caught up to that. So it was decided for him to try and figure out what made those sorts of people tick. And to do so, he went around the country to prisons and he started interviewing all these people. This is the guy who actually coined the term serial killers. They did not even have it. It was like multiple murderers and, something like that. So in the show, he goes into these prisons and him and his partner, and they interview these guys and really are trying to get to the root of why did they do it? What was their upbringing? What was the relationship with their parents? All that sort of stuff so that they and the FBI, and they end up helping law enforcement all over the country solve crimes based on this sort of profiling, which had never really occurred before. So they would go around talking about this sort of stuff, and a cop would show up and go, "Hey, this murder just happened. Can you take a look?" And just by what they had figured out and compiled from having all these discussions with these serial killers, they were able to then say, "Hey, you're looking for a white male, 20 to 25, probably this sort of socioeconomic background, this sort of job, even, and they can, and what we're used to today,
profiling
is what they were coming up with then." And Anna Torv comes in as a consultant, and she's kind of leading the whole real science behind everything, taking the answers and really trying to figure stuff out. So all along in the first and second season, we're also introduced in every cold open of the show is the BTK killer, and just his kind of progression of things. And so we have yet to they talked about him a little bit in the second season, saying, because he finally started, these guys write letters to the media and to the law enforcement and stuff. So they finally have the name for him, but Jonathan Groff's character and his partner, they have not yet really gotten to that case. In this one, they do go and interview Charles Manson. And all of these interviews are actually pretty much word for word in the show based off of the transcripts that the guy had. So this season, the second season, they went and interviewed Charles Manson, which was really interesting because it was also a discussion. He never actually killed anyone. So it was, why should we go and interview him when our basis is all about this? And so, but it was that thing of, well, what made him able to have other people kill people? So
that's almost scarier.
Yeah, exactly. Also, at the same time, the second season dealt with the Atlanta child murders, where there was over 20 black children being killed, and they get involved again, trying to help profiling and trying to figure out if they were all connected. Because at that point, no one in Atlanta wanted to publicize, no one in Atlanta wanted to make a big deal of it. but the parents did. And so they kept saying they were all separate and, you know, all this stuff. And so these guys came in and was like, no, I think most of these are connected and all that sort of stuff.
Right.
So anyway, it's a very well done show. Like I said, it's David Fincher. It's dark. It's very dark. It's very dark content. The second season got a little bit darker because his partner has a situation at home with his son that's, you know, very dark. But it also is supposed to be that way because you have to realize what these guys deal with and what they're going through too, which, you know, there are people that deal with this sort of content every day and what their lives must be like.
Yeah, that's gotta be tough.
Exactly. So, so I'm really glad I went back and I watched the first season. I was really happy with the second, and I am so looking forward to the next one. I haven't heard officially that they're having a next one, so hopefully that'll come out in the next few weeks.
So I'm just curious, where would this show fall then on your list of top shows? Because right now it's Handmaid's Tale at the top, right?
Of all time, you mean? Or
no,
right now?
No, just right now.
Oh,
I don't think it's fair. I mean, you just saw it and you don't know where it's going, so you can't really put it in all time. But right now, the stuff you're watching...
Right now, it's been a really slow summer, though, so it's kind of like Handmaid's Tale's miles above. Handmaid's Tale and Queen Sugar's miles above everything else.
Okay. But this would be top 5, maybe?
This would be, yeah, for the summer, for sure. I definitely would tell people to watch it if it's something you're interested in. I don't know that casual, like I know some people who are just against watching like murder shows, especially if it has to do with kids and all that. So, you know, I wouldn't advise those sorts of people.
Who do we know that's like that? Oh, wait, me.
But it's also so well done. And to me, it's historical in a way of telling this behavioral science that I've always been super intrigued with. That's why I watch these shows, because what makes these people tick. So to see them kind of come up with this stuff in the beginning and see these kind of original mass murders and talk about their obsessions or their really horrible relationships with their mothers, which is kind of a running line through, you know, and again, back then it was almost always just these white men, just like we're seeing with the mass shootings today.
Sure.
So yeah, so it's so for me, that's really interesting. I don't think you have to like love murder shows to watch it if you just like really good acting, really good storytelling. But the content can be really dark. So if you can't, you know yourself, if you can't watch that kind of dark stuff, then, you know, then I would just say skip it, but you are missing out for sure.
Yeah. I've missed out on other stuff.
Yeah. And it's Jonathan Groff. I mean,
well, yeah, and I like him.
And he's really good in it because he has to be like this really stiff. He's this very, what you would stereotype an FBI young kid, at that time, you know, late 70s. Like he's just very, very stiff, very, appears to be wholesome, and, you know, doesn't smile a lot, but he's super smart and really knows this stuff and is really good like Anna Torv's character tries to come up with a questionnaire that they should just walk into these prisons and say, so tell me about your relationship with your mom. Well, these guys are master manipulators, master liars, master deceivers. You know, they are toying with these guys just as much as they toyed with anyone.
Sure.
So quickly, you know, his character is Holden. He quickly figures out this is stupid. I can't stick to these questions. And he actually starts to manipulate them. And it's brilliant in the way that he will, he sides with them and makes them feel so comfortable. So then they just start talking about everything. So it's really good. He's just really good in that role.
Well, he's really good.
Yeah, he is.
So he doesn't smile or laugh a lot?
No, I think, yeah. And not,
so he needs to be nominated for an Emmy. Emanated for a Nami. Based on that, because he smiles and laughs more than just about anybody I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So that's good acting.
It is. He's good.
Yeah.
Everyone's good. His character is played by Holt McElhaney, I think is how you pronounce it. He's really good. And like I said, he had issues with his family. His character did this season, and it was just it was hard. So everyone's really good on it. hands down. And all the guys who portray these killers, they do really well impersonating. They've really come up with interesting guys. The guy actually who plays Manson in this also played Manson in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Wow, sounds like he's typecast.
Yeah.
So wait, so you know how one of my phrases is Holy Macalani? So this guy's name is Holt Macalani?
I think so. Okay. Moving on. So we watched together okay.
I need a minute.
Yeah, he could keep laughing, which is why I'm just trying to move on.
Man.
So
okay. Holy Macalani. Go ahead.
We watched a new stand-up special by Jim Gaffigan this week called Quality Time.
Yep.
It's on Amazon Prime. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, so this one struck close to home for me because is he 50 yet or pushing 50?
I have no idea.
He's approaching 50. I just turned 51 and he's put on a little weight again. So a lot of his, stand-up was based on food and the fat man.
The fat man.
So it struck kind of close to home for me, but man, he nailed a bunch of it and was,
he's 2 years older than you.
He's 53.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So, it was funny and very, if you know Jim Gaffigan, it was very Jim Gaffigan.
Yeah.
So I actually know some people who don't like him and they're not going to like this because it's very much, it's not a stretch for him. It's kind of more of what he does.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I thought the interactions, when his family was on vacation and that sort of stuff it was really good. It was, he wrote it. He and his wife wrote it.
Yeah.
Directed it.
Yeah.
So it was really good.
I would say probably
the first
half of it.
The first half.
So it's an hour and 10 minutes long. That's long for a stand-up special. And it felt long to me.
Is it? I think most of them are about an hour.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so yes, this one was 10 minutes longer.
There was at least 10 minutes of horse jokes. So that could have been cut and we would have been, so.
No, some of them were funny.
Some were. And then it just, it
was too much.
So yeah, I like him. So if anyone ever watched his show, I really did enjoy his show that him and his wife put out. I think there were only 2 seasons of it, but it was funny. But what's funny about him is he has this character that he talks about that's just fat and lazy and likes to eat, and so those are funny jokes. It just it wears a little bit after a while, so
Sure.
I think I probably would have enjoyed it if I had done like a half hour and then come back and watch the rest of it later some other day. That probably would have given me a chance to just because he's not a physical comic. He doesn't move around much. He barely gesticulates his arms or anything. So the guys who move around and are just constantly, I can watch them. They're keeping me entertained, making faces. He doesn't do faces. He does voices.
Does some faces.
But I just, it was funny. I'm just not sure if the second half was, because honestly, I think I was just zoning out at that point.
Maybe that was a problem for me too, because I very noticeably liked the first half much more than the second half.
Right.
And I don't know if it was just because the material in the second half wasn't as strong, or I was starting to zone out, or after the horse jokes just kind of lost it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the first half, to me, makes the whole thing worth watching.
Okay.
But if you turn it off halfway, I completely understand.
Right. But I would say go back to it. It's just his shticks for me. It's a lot. And so I think it definitely wears on me. Yeah.
That's exactly how I feel about Jim Carrey. Yes, Mustard?
Moving on?
I guess so.
Okay. Next show I want to talk about is a show that just started on Sunday. So we've only had one episode. And it's Danny McBride's new show, The Righteous Gemstones. It's on HBO, of course. And this is his first hour-long show. So he had Eastbound and Down, and then he had Vice Principals, and they were each half-hour shows. So this has John Goodman and Adam Devine and this chick on there, Edie Patterson. She was also on Vice Principals. She is so funny on this. So what is this show about? So John Goodman is an evangelist, one of those really huge with the stadium full of
televangelist.
Yeah, they're on TV.
Okay.
Super rich, super loaded, and Danny and Adam Devine are his sons, and Edie is his daughter. Like so rich to where like they leave the stadium and they each get into their own Range Rovers and they drive onto this property, and one goes in each direction, and they drive up each to their own mansions on this property and this,
Okay.
So it turns out that John Goodman's wife had died sometime in the near past. I guess we're going to learn more about her and their relationship. And so John Goodman's kind of feeling a little lost, wanting to depend on his sons. Adam Devine is just single and very Adam Devine, and Danny is married and he's got kids, but we learn quickly that he is not living the lifestyle he should be. With that, he gets in this first episode, he gets blackmailed with a video of him snorting coke, and there's naked people all around him, and so they have to find a way to get the money. He pulls in his siblings. They have to find a way to get the money and find a way to exchange it. And in one of the most hysterical scenes, literally my jaw dropped, and I was just laughing so hard of this exchange of the money. Oh my God, it was so funny. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting to find. So their last name is Gemstones, so that's why it's called the Righteous Gemstones. Dermot Mulroney's in it, so they've opened a new prayer center in whatever town, and so all these other pastors, and Dermot Mulroney is one of them, has come to them saying, "You're going to take our parishioners," and all this stuff. So there's it's rife for conflict, rife for comedy, and I just can't wait to see what's really going to come of this family.
So there only one episode is out.
Yes, only one episode. So that's why I wanted to just talk about it and say, go back and watch the first one. And, so here's the thing. If you like Danny McBride, you like Danny McBride, right? I mean, that's kind of it. Yeah. And I think I was not a fan of the Eastbound Down show. It wasn't a character that I liked. And look, full disclosure, he's from my hometown. Well,
you have 2 degrees of separation from him. Right?
Yeah, I have. Yeah. So it felt like that character, and I'm blanking on that character. It felt like it was taken straight from someone in our hometown. Like it was a little.
It probably was.
Is too much.
Probably was.
I was not a super fan of that show. Vice Principals was funny, but also his movies have always been really good. He wrote the latest Halloween. I think they're doing 1 or 2 more. He's fantastic in Tropic Thunder. He's fantastic in Heartbreak Kid. So his acting or his writing has always been on point for me. I just really enjoy him. So it's kind of that thing. If you like him, if you've liked his show, to me, I feel like this show is different in a way just because he actually directed the first episode. It was like they throw a lot of money at this show. There's a lot of money. It's really good looking. He did a great job of directing. It's just on a much bigger scale than it felt like his shows before.
Okay.
So anyway, I just wanted to say, check it out. Righteous Gemstones on HBO. It's every Sunday night.
Yep. So I just thought, I was trying to think of the character or the movie that I liked him most in.
Oh.
And it's Pineapple Express.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. This is the end. Oh my God. He's so funny in that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Yep.
For sure.
Anything with Seth.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Okay, so that's it of news shows. I just want to quickly talk about, because it is a slow TV few weeks. This started, I think, after everything ended, so I wasn't able to talk about it. But I have been rewatching Orphan Black. I'm in the middle of the 3rd season. I just wanted to put it out there for anyone who never watched it. I loved it when it was on, but rewatching it now, almost binging it, has been so good, and it's so amazing. And honestly, what felt like it took forever to get to certain storylines or to get answers to questions when it was on originally, now I'm like, by the end of the 1st season, we had been told so much, and I was like, really already? I didn't realize we had learned so much so quickly. It was a lot to take in. It was like, and it's just rewatching again. Nothing has been lost. If anything, it's more magnificent and more entertaining the second time around. because I was already so invested in these characters and I love them so much.
Sure.
But man, I'm having a blast watching it again.
Good.
I'm so happy.
Good
Yeah.
deal.
So it's on Amazon Prime, everyone. So if you didn't watch it, it's there for free. There's 5 seasons. And it's a really easy watch because you're just, it's go, go, go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next thing I wanted to talk about was a couple weeks ago, I talked about the end of Jane the Virgin. And
Yep.
I pleaded with everyone to go and watch it. I pleaded with John. I said, you'd love it. You'd love it. You'd love it. And we have started watching it. And we are now on episode, I think we're going to do 12 today.
Okay.
Yeah, we got through 11 yesterday. There are 100 episodes, everybody. And we are about to start 12. But let people know what you think.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. It's got everything.
It does.
It's got a lot of heart. It's got a lot of. It's funny. A lot of funny moments.
Yeah.
A lot of uncomfortable moments, but in not in a creepy or crime kind of way. It's very light.
It's in a soap opera way.
So what just hit me yesterday was this is a telenovela.
It is, yeah. That's
And
what they tried to do, but not in the
classic sense.
Not in the classic sense where
Right.
it's like super crazy and over the top. Like Jane and her family is still very normal and down to earth, but then there's all these weird things happening around them, so it's like
they're normal, but they've gone through an awful lot in 10 episodes.
they
So, it is telenovela-esque.
right. Right.
But one of the main characters is the lead in a telenovela.
Right.
So it's parts of it are not a stretch.
Right.
But yeah, it's so good. It's really good. Every episode,
stuff happens.
tugs at your heart.
Yeah.
Makes you laugh.
Yeah.
A little bit of discomfort.
Yeah.
Anxiety. I mean, it's really got it all. So I'm really enjoying it. I'm liking it a lot more than I thought I would.
I'm so happy.
Yeah.
I really am because now we watch an episode while we have dinner. So it gives us something to watch every day, and I knew you would like it. And there's romance.
Yes.
And there's it's just
There's romance and failed romance and
other weird romance
and extorted romance.
Yeah.
In every episode.
Yeah. Yeah. And
so-
Jane's the best. Like, I don't know if you remember, but when I was talking about it ending, I said Jane is who I would love to be. Like when I grow up or just in normal, she's just a good soul and a good person. And a great character for women and girls to look at and all of that. Like she always does the right thing, but it's not like she's righteous about it. You know what I mean? Like it's not in your face. Like everyone around her has to do the right thing. It's truly just, that's how she is.
Well,
she just wants to do the right thing because it's the right thing to do.
And a lot of times the show will show you her thought process.
Right.
Or narrate her thought process or whatever. And you see how much integrity she has because she thinks about the other side, the other decision, but always goes for the right one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is great. And honestly, everyone on there is mostly good. It's just she stands out because we've had so many years, past 5, 6, 7+ years where we had these flawed heroes as our main people for shows. So for Jane to come around and she kind of sticks to who she is, that's a really hard thing to act and to watch and and to have other people around her.
They did seem to take more than a few things from Ally McBeal because she's kind of Ally McBeal like in that all these people are doing all this stuff around her and yet she remains true to herself.
Right.
Yeah,
Ally wasn't that good, but yeah.
Well, no, I mean this is kind of an exaggerated version of that, but it's along the same vein.
Right, especially with the little seeing the posters speaking to you and all that imagination that Ally had. Jane has that same sort of imaginary.
Yeah, I wasn't even talking about that. I was just talking about the character, but
yeah,
they kind of played on that too. So,
yeah, it's fun. I'm really glad.
That's exactly it. It's good and fun.
It is. Like I honestly, even if it ends on a bad note or not a bad note, but one of those weird telenovela twists, you still have a smile on your face when it's over. Like you just. Oh, I always
I'll
do.
beg to differ with you. The episode that ended with her mom getting pushed down the steps. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
I was not smiling. That bothered me for a
Yeah,
whole day
and
until we got to the next episode.
And there are, I mean, there are some really sadder moments and lots and lots of crying. But it's still always uplifting. And maybe there's just always this optimistic point of view with the show. Because Jane is an optimist.
Well, she's an optimist. Her father's an optimist.
Yeah.
Her grandmother's an optimist.
Right.
You know, there are a lot of very positive people in the show.
Yeah. Which is nice. It just feels good.
It is very refreshing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot of dark rain clouds out there nowadays.
Exactly.
So it is really nice to have a show full of fairly positive people.
Right.
I think that's actually one of the things I like about it.
Of course. Because you complain a lot about where you're like, I can't like these people. These people are doing horrible things. I don't like them, whatever. And on this show, you can like almost everyone.
Even the people who are doing bad things I like.
You still have moments where you're just like, oh, and they were pressured or they were this or they were that.
I wish she wouldn't do that. But I understand why she's doing it.
Right.
But I wish she wouldn't.
Right.
But I get it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to let everyone know we are now rewatching it. So my point of people should watch it. If John's watching it, trust me, that means everyone would love it. So.
Yeah, I am as picky a television watcher as there is.
Yeah.
So I think you'll like it.
He's seen most pilots of every show and then chooses not to watch anything more.
Yes.
So yeah. So anyway, all episodes are on Netflix. Definitely go and check it out.
I am the Jerry O'Connell of On the Other Side.
Huh?
He's killed a lot of shows by being on a lot of shows. He's done a lot of pilots, but not a lot of series. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm the viewer side of that.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's it. That's all I have to
my.
talk about.
Okay.
So we're going to move on to the Actors Corner
Okay.
with Reese Witherspoon.
Reese. So I did this a little different. I decided to do I decided to do the career of Reese without her spoon.
I can't wait to find out how long it'll take for that joke to
Fud.
stop being funny.
Wait, you hear that laughter?
Nope.
Aw, dang.
Anyway,
Squeak.
I had a really hard time with this. I could have just put everything on the top line.
Really? Okay.
So I ended up just paring it down as much as I could, but then everything else is going to be in the honorable mention at the end. So
Wow. Okay.
yeah. I'm just going to start real quick with my introduction to Reese, which my sister would back me up with. This was we saw Man in the Moon when it came out.
Really?
And that was our first foray. And of course, she plays someone named Danny. The character goes by Danny in it.
Mm-hmm.
And the movie, first off, tears you up. If you've ever seen it, it's so dramatic and traumatic. And oh my God, we were an absolute mess. But we loved her in it. Her and I are the same age. So I don't know. I think we were like 13 or 14 when it came out. And it became this thing like after that, for the first few years after that, it was always, oh, that girl from Man in the Moon.
Mm-hmm.
And just another weird thing. The next thing I saw her in was Fear with Mark Wahlberg. So she played Danny in Man in the Moon. And then her name was Nicole in Fear, which is my sister's name.
Yeah.
So it was really weird. Anyway, go on. Movies you love of Reese Witherspoon.
So my first experience with Reese
was
Pleasantville.
Really?
Yeah, that's the first thing I saw her in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, and I don't know what it is about that movie, but I just love it.
Well, it's
yeah, but
one of the best. It's
a lot of people think it's just too campy.
Campy?
Yeah, because it's
How is it campy?
The exaggerated take on the 50s.
Okay. I'm going to argue with those people. It is not campy. It has nothing to do with exaggeration. It was highlighting the problem of that era and people thinking it was the perfect time to be alive, because it wasn't for everyone. And that's the point of the movie, is getting woke so that you understand what's happening in the world.
Okay.
And being exposed to more than your little life.
So 37% of the nation disagrees with you. It was the perfect time.
Anyway, real quick on Pleasantville, because that's also one of the movies I love.
Uh-huh.
One of the questions we always talk about is if that could happen to you and you were transported into any television show, what would you choose?
Oh man. Give me a minute to think about that. What would yours be?
Friends. Only because, look, what I always loved about the show was Tobey Maguire was a super fan of that show, of Pleasantville. And so he was able to walk around and he knew what episode they were in. He knew what was supposed to happen next, all that sort of stuff. That's the Friends is, well, it's not the only show actually, but see, now I could probably do a few. I could do happy endings. So I can walk into these shows and know exactly what's supposed to happen and just be beamed into like someone's character and be able to do it all. Yeah, Friends would be the obvious.
Yeah. So I don't have many shows where I'm like that, where I know it inside and out. Actually, I can't think of any. The closest I would have to that is probably, and as time goes on and we get further away from it, the harder it is to talk about it, is Miami Vice.
Oh my God.
I know. But I guess, oh man. Yeah, we'll have to come back to that one because that's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, for me, things I know by heart, it could be Friends, Happy Endings, Will and Grace, How I Met Your Mother. Mm-hmm. I watch all those, Parks and Rec, 30 Rock. I'm thinking of everything I watch at night. So I can probably go into any of those.
Does Ancient Aliens count?
Sure. Wah, wah. Okay, what else did you have for movies you love?
Just Like Heaven.
Huh.
Yeah.
Out of all those, you chose Just Like Heaven, really?
Oh, well, so I'm a big Mark Ruffalo fan.
Yeah.
And the premise is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
it was good.
I thought it was I really
doesn't top mine out of all the rom-coms. It doesn't top my list. Huh. Okay.
So, and I had a third one.
Okay.
Home Again.
Yes. That is. Oh, that's under like for me.
And not really.
Love it.
Yeah, not really because of her, but mostly because of the three guys.
Yeah. For me, it's her because and that's interesting. I think that is probably just the difference of a man and woman. It was fun to watch her play. She turns 40. What are you doing?
Nothing.
Sorry, he was making a weird face at his microphone.
There was a hair on my microphone that kept tickling my nose.
That's gross. Well, so in Home Again, she plays a 40-year-old. She's getting divorced, and these guys move in and kind of change her life or open up her life. And I loved her story in it that you can be a mom, you can open up to other people and kind of find out who you are when you're not married anymore, all that sort of stuff. Mm-hmm. So I love that movie so much. And I really like, it was that grown up version. Again, it's someone that I've grown up with. So as we get through all these stages, it's easy to relate to what she does.
Yeah.
Okay. So you only had those three. Okay. I had four. I told you I couldn't, it was too much. So I had Pleasantville, Election. Election is one of my top movies ever.
Oh, we're going to have some serious trouble here in about 10 minutes.
Then you need to rewatch it because it's hysterical and funny and wonderful.
Okay.
And one of the best movies ever.
Okay.
Sorry. Did you hiccup while you were laughing?
I hiccuped out of a laugh.
Oh my gosh. Then I also have Vanity. He's not going to stop laughing at himself. Okay, can Okay, we're back. Sorry about that, everybody. We couldn't stop. Couldn't stop laughing.
Had to take a few minutes off.
Woo, okay.
Uh-oh. No, we're not done.
Okay, I can get through it.
Maybe not.
Okay, sorry about that. Oh my gosh.
Sorry
what
again.
A day. Okay, so my third one under movies I love. So there's Pleasantville, Election, and now Vanity Fair. That is one of my favorite movies. I love it. She's so good in it. And just everything about it. The costumes, everyone else that's in it. Love it, love it, love it.
Yeah, predictably I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, that's not surprising. And then the fourth one on this list is Wild. I think it's just that was again another kind of stretching role for her and really good, based on the book, really good where she hikes the whole Pacific Coast.
Oh,
yeah.
That one. Yeah. That was just a couple of years ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really great story. Really loved the whole thing.
And didn't she become friends with the actual woman?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so that's it for movies I love. How about like?
This Means War.
Yes, that is on my list as well.
Yeah, I figured it would be.
Oh, watch it all the time.
Yeah.
Again, McG directed it, so it's just nice and bright and colorful and, fun. And Tom Hardy and Chris Pine, hello.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's just beautiful all around.
There's something for everybody.
Yeah.
And Sweet Home Alabama.
That didn't make any of my lists. Okay.
I'm sorry,
so,
Roxy.
So sorry, everybody. Gosh, we're getting a lot of interruptions
She
today.
did not like my opinion of Sweet Home Alabama.
Yeah. I love Sweet Home Alabama. Did it make any? It didn't make any of my lists, but yeah, it's great. Love it so much. Josh Lucas, so good. That's it?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so for me, The Importance of Being Earnest, so good. Rupert Everett, and now I'm blanking on the other guy. Anyway, she does a great job, and she does a British accent in it, and it's just so funny and wonderful, and yeah.
Okay, cool.
Then I had This Means War and Home Again, which we've already talked about, and then my fourth was The Good Lie.
Never saw it. Yeah.
Yeah, you did. We
I
sat
did?
in here and we watched it. That's the true story of taking in the Sudanese guys. Remember, she doesn't take them in.
Yeah.
She helps them. And
Oh, I'm sorry. I was
is
thinking.
it Sudanese? Where I could be.
I think it was Somali.
Was it?
No. Yeah. You know what? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. Don't quote me on anything. But she helps these refugees that come to her town.
Yeah.
They need to learn to live and keep a job.
That hair was on my face.
I knew it.
Sorry. Turns out I had a wild hair.
And he just got his hair cut, so he's got hairs.
Yeah.
So anyway, The Good Lie, Reese Witherspoon. It's an amazing story. You will
Yeah.
bawl your eyes out. These three guys who were lost boys, and they came over here, and their sister was displaced from them, and it's an amazing story.
Yeah. And had I been thinking about it, that would have been in at least my like, if not love.
Good. Okay, movies you hate.
Just one. And hate is too strong a term.
Okay.
I just don't like it. It's Four Christmases.
I know. I don't know why.
I don't know either.
It's a great,
No.
great. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's okay.
Everyone that's in it, and Robert Duvall and Sissy Spacek, and
I mean, yeah, it's full of people. Dwight Yoakam and Mary Steenburgen and Kristen Chenoweth, and I mean, there's a lot of good people.
Is it your Vince Vaughn issue?
I think it is.
He's so good in it, though. I love it.
I just wish that Vince would do something not Vince. You know what I mean?
No, because I like Vince.
I don't mind Vince. I just with him, I feel like if I've seen him in one thing, I've seen him in everything.
Yeah,
he's
but
very
I
one-dimensional.
love it. So
I know.
Me,
well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
If you love that in him, you're gonna like everything he does.
Right.
And if you don't, you're kind of out of luck.
It's very difficult at Christmas time though, because it's on rotation, and I watch it, and he has to.
I know.
Poo it.
Yeah.
Scrooge it. Okay. Mine that I hate is How Do You Know? It's a James L. Brooks movie. I'm not a fan of his movies. And this one was just the same, and I did not enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Movies you secretly love.
Sing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't you wasn't that just a couple weeks
Yeah,
ago?
it wasn't that long ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's entertaining.
It's really
and fun
good.
and
It's really
sweet.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That's all you had?
That's all I had.
Oh, okay. Mine's Penelope.
Penelope.
Christina Ricci plays this girl who's like born with a pig nose, and she goes out into the world, and Reese kind of takes her in, and it's a fantasy movie. It's a love movie. It's what's his face? Professor X is the young Professor X.
James McAvoy?
Yes, thank you. I think that was the first thing I saw him in. And I just love it. Penelope, it's very sweet. Very good movie.
Okay.
Sorry, everyone. And my second one under Secretly Love is A Wrinkle in Time. There's no secret about it. It's freaking fantastic, and I love it.
I didn't put that only because her on screen is very limited.
Not really.
Oh. I've only seen it once, and she didn't make an impression on me, so.
Okay.
Yeah,
She has
so-
orange hair in it, so maybe that's why.
Yeah, but she's next to Oprah, so.
Okay, movies you haven't seen or embarrassed you haven't seen.
Okay, Legally Blonde,
You have not seen Legally Blonde.
and I'm very embarrassed.
You should be.
I am.
Hang
We've
your
had that
head.
exact conversation many times.
Yes.
And in reading the synopsis, Cruel Intentions.
I can't believe you haven't seen
Yeah.
that. Dangerous Liaisons.
I'm sorry, what?
So, I am so sorry, you guys. I told you I'm off Zyrtec and the allergies are just killing me.
I think the fit of laughter broke a bunch of stuff up.
Yeah, I think so. Dangerous Liaisons. Have you ever seen that?
No.
So Cruel Intentions is basically taking that story and putting it with teenagers. But it's an absolute classic. It's brilliant and wonderful. And I just watched it a couple weeks ago. It was on, and so I put it on. It's great.
Okay.
Yeah. The only thing I haven't seen of hers that I ever cared about seeing was Water for Elephants. I had always heard I think it was a good book, and then when the movie came out, I don't really want to see it anymore. Like, I'm not adding it to my watch list, but it was one that I did want to see at the time.
Here's the downside to that movie for me, or why I won't give it the time of day.
The elephants.
No, I want to see the elephants. I just don't want to have to watch Robert Pattinson to get to
I
him.
know, yeah.
And I'm sorry, Robert Pattinson, if you're listening. You're so not my thing. And I just can't get past it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. So adding to your watch list?
Freeway.
Huh?
Freeway.
What is that?
Oh my. Maybe we should add it to both our watch lists. It seems like it's loosely based on Little Red Riding Hood.
How old is it?
It was one of the first things she did. But it's the first thing she was a lead in, apparently, in reading the synopsis. Again.
I do not have anything to add to my watch list, but I do, of course, have honorable mentions. We talked about Man in the Moon. We talked about Fear with Mark Wahlberg. I'm always trying to watch it, and you always
I
make
caught
me...
a little bit of it the other day.
It's so good. That was
like a couple weeks
Mark
ago.
Wahlberg's so scary in that. I love it. Alyssa Milano. Yeah, it's classic. Cruel Intentions. We talked about Legally Blonde. The first one is so good. They're doing a third one now.
Yeah.
First one was classic. The musical is fantastic. If you can see the musical, Sweet Home Alabama, Walk the Line. I mean, she won the Oscar for it. It wasn't my thing.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I like her. I really like Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, and he didn't win, and that was baloney. And I think that's why I get angry.
I don't know why it's not that I really don't want to see the movie. It's just that I don't want to see the movie.
Oh, it was worth seeing for sure because it's a good. I mean, Johnny Cash. It's a good story of seeing him and Joaquin singing again. He actually sang the songs.
Right.
Was so good in it. It's definitely worth seeing, but I don't need to watch it over and over again.
Take that, Rami Malek. Bless you.
Just like Heaven, I did have. For Christmases, I had. Sing, I had Monsters vs. Aliens. That was a really cute movie.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. And then, of course, Big Little Lies. Everyone, I talked about the second season, but the first season was so great. So amazing. Second season, it's okay. But she's produced so much of this now in the last 10 or so years, I think, bringing together these sorts of roles for women. She's just done an amazing job. And I'm really proud of her.
Yeah, absolutely. In a non-condescending way.
And of course she was on Friends. Those were good episodes too. She was Rachel's sister, and she was trying to date Ross and all that. It was funny. So that's that.
So wait, both her and Christina Applegate were Rachel's sisters?
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yep.
Because that is one of my favorite episodes, the one with
Christina
Applegate.
She was on 2. So the Thanksgiving one, the Crazy Plate Lady one.
Is that the one where Phoebe keeps going, Phoebe?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, that one.
Yeah.
Why does it keep doing that? Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
It is a good one.
Yes. Okay. So that's that. Yeah, it's a slow time for TV.
Well,
we'll see if we have enough for next week.
We made it through and we took up a lot of time, so.
We did still take up an hour, so there we go.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Have a great week, and we're going into Labor Day next weekend, so we might not do one next weekend. But John's on vacation all week, so maybe he'll watch a lot of stuff.
I'm going to watch a lot of stuff.
We will see.
Well, it may not be the stuff we talk about. But
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Okay. Oh, and one other thing we didn't even talk about.
What is
Ghost
it?
Hunters is back.
Oh, Ghost Hunters, yes.
Let's save it for the next one.
Okay.
Okay.
But watch it Wednesday nights.
Yes. A&E.
A&E.
Yes.
Yep.
That's it, everybody. Until next time, I'll be watching my stories.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay, bye.